Hello, it's Julie Creffield here, founder of Tribe Builder, and we're here for another Hello Tribe Builder with Breeda Miller. So, hi Breeda.
Hey Julie, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm doing really well. I love doing live calls with you. I love the fact that that you're so many million miles away, or it feels that, but I also feel really kind of connected. So, thank you for taking the time to speak to me today. This interview series is an opportunity for my Tribe Builder clients just to have a bit of a chat really about the whole experience and, any learning that you've got, so that if people are thinking about coming on Tribe Builder or just wanting to know a little bit more about that concept, that it's rather than me telling everybody what it is, hearing it from the horse's mouth, as they say. So start off by telling us who you are.
I'm a speaker. I help caregivers carry on. I left my PDJ, my pesky day job, in January to really follow my heart and my mission, which is to support both professional and family caregivers. And I come to this honestly. I was my mother's caregiver for 8 years, including the last 2 years, which were really rough. I was part of the sandwich generation, experienced hospice care in my home at the end of my mother's life, which I had no idea, nothing, no knowledge about what was going to happen or how to do it. Had 3 teenagers at home and an office in my home at the time, so I had the worst of both worlds. I never got to leave. And I learned a lot, from other caregivers, and I decided that this is really something that I can do. I can help people who are in this position of caring for a generation on one side, their aging parents, maybe kids at home, or a demanding career on the other side, and they're just feeling exhausted and stressed and drained and don't even know where to go for help. And that's me.
Yeah. And we met, didn't we? We met in person in Orlando close to 2 years ago, and we had a conversation. Do you want to share that conversation and the light bulb moment that you had as a result of it?
Exactly. So 2 years ago, I'm in Orlando and I meet Julie, and we're just with a group of other women speakers at a business conference. And I just said, I have this great idea. I'm doing this, and the name of my program on my keynote's pretty clunky and cumbersome. Do you have any ideas? And at that time, it was called Finding Humor and Grace in the Caregiver Sandwich. And part of my challenge was, I speak to people who often have a hard time leaving the person in their care to come and hear me speak. And people would say all the time, oh, I wish my sister could have been here. She needs to hear you. And I thought, well, what if I did some videos and I did some online things that would reach these folks, but I don't know what to call it. And you and Bryony and some other very smart people just started back and forth with ideas, and the name, the Caregiver Coffee Break, came up. And I really liked it. Yeah. And I ran with it. And in fact, this is where 2 years ago, this germ of an idea on a little white couch with a couple of other women sipping, a beverage or 10. No, but sipping something. And today, look at what I have. It's a book, and it's called The Caregiver Coffee Break. And that's really, that's how it came to be. And it just kind of evolved from there. And so that's how I met you. And you were so generous and so creative and just sat and thought, what makes sense? What's a good idea? Very down to earth, very practical, and very real world. And I was so grateful. And you were just so generous with your thinking and your ideas. And look at me now. I'm sitting here in Michigan, 6 hours away, a couple thousand miles away. And yet we have this connection and this support, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. And I want to thank you, because actually what I realized in that moment is that I left that conference really energized, because I've been able to give that so, as you say, generously. And it's one of the things I've realized about myself is I come up with ideas all the time. Some people are like, oh, protect my ideas. Like there's not going to be another one tomorrow. My problem is not ideas. My problem is having the time to do all the things that I want to do. So actually it's lovely to be able to gift people ideas, or, and often it's not my idea, but what I'm really good at is coming up with a name or a concept or a new model. I don't take credit for the idea necessarily, but I realized at that conference, this is something that's quite easy for me, and I enjoy it, and I'm quite good at it.
You
So
are.
actually, although the Tribe Builder program wasn't even a seed of an idea there, that interaction absolutely was the starting point for me thinking, yes, I have these other businesses, but actually one of the things that really light me up is being able to help other entrepreneurs to take world problems and find business models and solutions that enable everybody to win. Because that's what we want, right? We want everyone to win.
We do. And here's the other point that I think is really important. And I it's one thing to be inspired. It's one thing to hear a good idea and then say, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I should do that someday. I mean, how many people have had a good idea and then didn't take action? It just sat there, and then all of a sudden they see somebody else have this idea that's been out in the world. Somebody else latches onto it and says, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to take action, and I'm going to do it. And so that's really what is the difference for me with Tribe Builder. Is it's great to have good ideas. Lots of us have good ideas, but how many people actually do it? How many people actually take action? And you are, as you say, the kick in the arse to hold us to it and say, well, are you going to do it? And what's your plan? And not in an unkind way, but in a very direct way that is so honest, and that I know that you have only our best intention. And so it's in the back of my head, like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk to Julie. I want to tell Julie good things.
Yeah. So what made you think that Tribe Builder might be a good program for you?
So I saw your video about it, and I saw you talking about it. And it had never occurred to me that it would make sense for me, because my business model has been about speaking to corporate groups and associations and that kind of thing. And I have a smallish tribe of people on Facebook that people that go to my website, that I send newsletters out, that I support caregivers. And I have a caregiver, a Facebook page called Caregiver Coffee Break. Isn't that amazing? And I curate positive things, inspiring things, resourceful things. And it's pretty good. And people seem to enjoy it. I love doing it. And I hadn't really thought about monetizing that or finding a way to grow that or expand that, because I just didn't even know how or where to begin. And so you planted this seed that this might be a good idea, a good use of time and energy. And I love the hashtag, I blame Julie, because I totally blame Julie where I am right now. Things have grown very quickly, and it's been very exciting. You just gave me the courage to implement some ideas and to just get off my butt and just do it. Yeah. And even if it's, I love you brought up the term branding. Totally guilty on that. Oh, I think I need to have some new things, or I need to use my logo on this, or I could spend some time, figuring out how to do this, or spend money and do stuff, right? And that branding, I am totally guilty of that. So now I catch myself, and there are times when I need to do that. I need to create something, but I don't need to spend that much time on it. And I just need to make it happen. So.
Absolutely. And can you share a little bit about the dynamic of that group? Because we started with 20 entrepreneurs from all over the globe, all different business models, different stages of business. Some people just had a concept. Some people have been in business for a number of years. The most diverse group of people you could get together in terms of entrepreneurs. How did that work?
I think it worked really well. So there were a couple of original members who were in the States, and I actually know one of them, and I know that she just had a lot of things going on, and she ended up not being one of the active members, and I don't think it was any reflection on the program itself as much as her life, which I know. But the women and one man were all in the UK, and that was so interesting for me, because their perspective about their business and how they do it was a bit different than mine. And their market potential and just the geography of their business is different. But all, as you say, all different levels, but the kindness and the generosity and the idea of you can do it, or just the feedback. They were very active, very committed. And I really feel that I now have some really good friends that I have to plan a trip so that I can come and visit them in person. And they're certainly welcome to, if they're in Michigan, to come and see me. But I love that idea of the global community, but in such a very positive way. And I think that we really helped each other with feedback. Apart from your wisdom in your, you know, driving the bus on this, we all had really good seats. We had really good seats on the bus. And then we would take turns in who we would sit next to and have feedback and just share and be supportive. It was really good, really good.
What did you find most challenging? Because, you know, it wasn't all rainbows and butterflies. There were moments where it was scary and challenging and frustrating. You know, what was the biggest challenge for you as part of the program?
Biggest challenge for me was on some of so you had some PDFs and some worksheets that we could do. You gave us there was a video module that we would watch, and then we would have Q&A and a live session to talk about it. I really loved the one-to-one sessions with people where you, so I was one of the early adapters. I just raised my hand, you know, and I was one of the early ones, and that was so beneficial to me because some of the ideas that you gave to me sparked ideas early on. Whereas people who would be hesitant to join in because they're not there, I think that they didn't have as much time to implement or think of their ideas. But one of the hardest things was just the mindset about my business turned upside down, thinking about metrics, thinking about numbers, thinking about how do I think about things globally in a different way. It was challenging. I'm not going to say it was overwhelming, but here's a point I want to make. So I'm guilty of, I suffer from shiny object syndrome. Do you ever get that? Where, oh, that's a good idea. I think I should do that. Oh, there's a course. I'm going to sign up for that. Oh, that's a coach. I think they're going to be the right one for me. So in the first quarter of the year, when I just launched myself up, put myself out there, I signed up for 3 different programs, and yours was one of them. And it was a stretch for me financially to have these 3 going on. One is there, and I feel it is a financial kind of assessment, financial support program. It's my least favorite subject. I'm not good at it. I feel guilty about it. You know, I need to be more engaged, but I'm not going to quit it because I need to do it. Another one was about marketing, and I just put it on the back burner. I thought, oh, that's good stuff, but I'm going to do that later. But your program is different. And your program, I don't know, it just sucked me in. I just decided I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this one a priority. And I spent an awful lot of time every week on Tribe Builder stuff, independently, you know, reading the materials or just thinking about it. And then I didn't, if I had to miss a call, I felt really badly about it because it was important to me. In fact, moving forward, now that I've decided to continue on, I'm working on this special program for caregivers, and it's a live event. And they said, oh, well, let's see if we can do this. And it's very arbitrary. So it's the first Wednesday of the month, I've decided. It's not going to be the first Tuesday of the month because that would mean I might miss a Tuesday with Tribe Builder. Isn't that crazy? So it tells me what a priority I've made and how much value I've gotten out of it, whether it's from you or whether the other members of the tribe, but it helps me think about things differently. And particularly as an entrepreneur, you know, the bad thing is my staff, you know, 2 dogs and 2 cats. And the bad thing about having a staff of dogs is they like everything. You know, I tell them an idea and they're, yeah, good idea. It's not really a good objective feedback for me. So. And the cats are terrible at giving me their opinion. They don't care. They don't care about anything.
I actually think you said something there about value. And I think you as a tribe member have given enormous value to other people. You've listened to their ideas. You've, you know, taken the time to give kind comments, you know, so it is give and take, you know, and I think that's one of the things that I love. And it's the thing that is my superpower. It's the thing that has driven me my whole life. How can we bring people together for a shared vision, a shared goal, where it's fair, it's equal. Sometimes we give more, sometimes we take more, but overall it feels like a really safe, kind, exciting place to be.
Exactly. And it is safe, but you know what I like too is that it's that you, anyway, your style is you're very direct. You are you are direct in an honest way that is not going to sugarcoat something if somebody needs to hear something. So let me give you an example. I was doing some memes for this launch of this membership program, and I was playing around with word swag, which I was not very familiar with and hadn't really done it. So I did my first one, and I kind of liked it, and I definitely liked the image, but I wasn't sure about the wording. And I put it out there in the tribe, and your comment back was that that you didn't that it was hard to read, that you didn't like the font.
Yeah.
Very direct, not mean, not unkind, not you didn't like the idea. And at first I thought, well, I kind of liked it. Oh, but then I thought, well, okay, listen, revisit it. I went back, I spent time on it, chose other fonts. It was way better with the final result. And you were exactly right. And you didn't just say, oh, perfect, Breeda, do it. That's great. Because it wasn't perfect and it wasn't right. It wasn't bad, but it just could have been better. And it was hard to read.
Yeah.
So,
and I think, you know, because I spend a lot of time in the group, you know, there's set times that I'm supposed to be there, but I'm just nosy. I want to see what you guys are up to. And often I'll see something and I'm like, you know, I'm on my phone, walking to the tube station or picking my daughter up from school, and I've only got a snap moment. Mm-hmm. So I don't always sugarcoat things because I don't have the time. I'm like, that doesn't look right, but I'll just give very direct feedback, which you can take or leave. And then there's definitely been examples where people have said, well, you know, I prefer it my way and I'm going to do it my way. And I'm like, oh, you know, it's about kind of considering things. But yeah, I'm definitely direct.
Yeah, but I appreciate that because, you know, again, I'm running my own show here, and you know, if I think it's a good idea, but then I really appreciate the opportunity to get feedback of people who have no vested interest, who are not trying to sell me anything. They're just I really believe they want me to be successful, and they see it from a different light because I am reading this book about story branding and the idea of you can't read the label when you're inside the jar. And so I know what I mean and I know why I do what I'm doing, but other people might read it and say, well, why would that strikes me as this, or it doesn't read as well. So this is just the feedback alone is great. And that has to do with the interaction of the group. And you can't control that. Some groups are out there and then other people, they're not interested in participating, but they just want to read it and be a part of it. It really works when people have the courage to put themselves out there and ask for support or ask for opinions.
Yeah. So we're moving into quite exciting times for Tribe Builder because we're about to recruit our second cohort. And we've got a core team of they're all ladies this time, from the original pilot that are staying for the next part of this journey. What are you hoping, or maybe who are you hoping will come into the next set? So what kind of participants are you hoping that will join our tribe?
Well, I'm really open-minded. I hope that there will be people just at very different levels of their business. There are people that are just brand spanking new, or they're looking to recalculate, and they're going to take their business in a different direction. But I think the value of Tribe Builder, to me anyway, is the variety. And so whether people are they have a business that offers a product, whether they're building a community, whether they offer a service, if they have in-person kinds of relationships with their clientele, or if it's all virtual. I think that's what's wonderful about it, is everyone is different. So I would just like to see more of the same, more people and people who are further along down the road, but are looking to take it up a notch, who have more life experiences. They're not necessarily all at the ground floor. Certainly those people are welcome and they can learn, but it would be also very exciting to have people who are already pretty successful in this, but just realize that they could benefit from the insight of other people in a really safe environment to test things out, to try it out and say, what do you think? And I find that invaluable.
Yeah. Cool. I could speak to you forever. You say such kind things. So I just wanted to just give a little bit of details about kind of the dates and stuff, and then I've got one final question for you. So the details for Tribe Builder is it's an 8-week program with the option to stay in the kind of tribe afterwards, and we start on the 10th of June. We have an early bird price at the moment that's open until the 31st of May, and the deadline for signing up is the 7th of June. I have a problem with numbers. Not that I can't count, but I really have to, like, I should know these numbers inside out. And even though I have them written down, I still can't read them. So I always have to double check my times and my dates, and because I get a little bit confused. So that's why they're written down. So what do I want to ask you? We covered quite a bit. Okay, so what is the core piece of tribe building advice that has most benefited you over the last kind of 8 to 10 weeks?
To be brave, to put yourself out there, and to realize that even if you don't, if you think, oh, I'm not an expert, I have no business building this business because I don't have a PhD in this, or I'm not certified in this. I have a voice and I have a passion for this, and that's real and that's true. And I know what my end goal is, so that I can be a resource to people, I can help people, and I don't have to know everything, because I can invite other people who can help in and be that expert. But that it is enough to have a voice and to want to be able to be accessible to others and to help them. And that's what, to me, building a really good tribe is all about.
Yeah, brilliant. You've just been so much fun to have in the tribe, and I'm so glad that you decided to stay. Breeda, how can people find out more about you?
I'm so glad you asked. So I have a website. It's called breedamiller.com, and that's BREEDA Miller.com. It will be undergoing a transformation fairly shortly. Because I've had this epiphany, and I've just realized through my Tribe Builder experience that I've been marketing myself as a professional speaker and towards speaker planners and conferences, but really who I want to help and who I want to support are caregivers, are the family caregivers or the professional online frontline caregivers who are not attending these conferences.
And how many of those? You know? How many of those did we work out that there was? Can you remember the
40
number?
In the United States, right? Just in the United States, there are 45 million unpaid family caregivers, whether it's for elder care, special needs, veterans, chronic illness, whatever. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of caregivers.
The impact that your business will make will be phenomenal. And that's
my plan.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so glad that you're in my tribe. So glad.
Well,
thank you so much for all of your generous feedback, and for being such a fantastic member, and for kind of taking the time today to be interviewed by me. For anybody watching this thinking, I'd like to have a little nose at what Tribe Builder is all about and all the prices and stuff like that, check out www.tribebuildernetwork.com. And we're going to be doing some more of these, so tune back in for some other entrepreneurs who are going to be talking about tribe building. Okay, and I'll speak to you soon, Breeda.
Thank you so much, Julie. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.